Hey there, Melissa here. I'm reading chapter 6 tonight. So it's going to be newborn ups and downs. Let me just find the page that I need to be on. If this is the first time you've joined in, I like to always say I recommend going and checking out the intro video first because it just talks a little bit about the perspective that I'm coming from. It's not a poor me story. It's not I don't need any sympathy or any pity. Like, I have found quite a lot of gratitude for my experiences, and I've come through the other end quite grateful and happy. So it's actually a good story. It's actually an inspirational story. And so I just want to make sure that that's clear when I'm starting out, and if you're starting out watching on chapter 6. Also, another quick little mention there is, if this story or if this chapter brings anything up for you that maybe you're going through something yourself, or you know someone that might be going through something, I highly recommend talking to someone. In my book, I've got a huge bank of resources at the front, but connect, whether it's with a women's refuge, whether it's with like a mental health service like Beyond Blue, whether it's just with someone in your family, like it might be just a parent or a sister or a really close friend. It doesn't really matter all that much. What's important is that you start talking to someone, especially if you're going through something, because talking about it, you might be able to, make it better. It doesn't necessarily all have to end the way that my story's ended, but then, hey, my story's got a pretty cool ending. So if it ends my way, well, it's not a bad thing either. So without any more, I will get started. So chapter 6 is called Newborn Ups and Downs. Early in June, I was induced, and soon after our son Noah was born. It was the happiest day of my life at that point. It's still one of the happiest days of my life, even though there was so much else going on. I bonded with Noah straight away. I loved him so much. I didn't want to put him down, not even for a minute. He was my everything. My whole view of life changed when he was born. I set my standards high for him. I promised I'd protect and look after him. I told Westley no one was to do any drugs at our place. No dealing. He wasn't to do it at all for my boy. I didn't want anger and violence around my son. Perhaps that was my controlling habit making an appearance. But this was about our son. I felt stronger and fearless after the birth of my son. I'd do anything for him. Almost from the start, I was exhausted and drained. I wasn't prepared for sleepless nights a new baby demanded. I felt desperate for a break. I wished Westley would help me out a few nights a week. Instead, he usually crawled into bed in the very small AMs. The frilly yellow bassinet started out on Wesley's side of the bed. When Noah woke, I'd gently kick Wesley to wake him up so he could pick the baby up and pass him to me. He would say he was waking up, but most often he'd just go back to sleep. On the occasions I continued trying to wake him up, he would become angry. I didn't like the tone that crept into his voice, so it became easier for me to take care of our son during the nights without trying to wake him. Looking back, maybe the late nights and early mornings were closed to meth use. I'll never really know for sure. On the occasions I felt unsure about his actions, I'd look him in the eye and ask. He would always comfortably look me in the eyes when he replied no. If he was gone for hours, there was always an excuse. Usually along the lines of, we were waiting for someone to arrive. I trusted him because I was sure he could say no. He never used to use during the week. I held on to the truth from the past. Back then, he very rarely said yes, and I refused to acknowledge there was a possibility things had changed. I observed everyone else was much worse, but I didn't want to see any difference in my beloved partner. I felt sleep deprived and mildly depressed. My resentment toward Westley grew because he frequently left home at 5 or 6 p.m, saying he'd only be gone an hour. Then he wouldn't return till very late. I was left to look after Noah while he cried most nights for 3 or 4 hours. Often Westley played the PlayStation for hours after returning. I noticed the days Westley was loving and kind. However, there were many other days he was horrid. He began calling me names and putting me down. I began losing confidence in myself. It was impossible to predict day to day what he'd be like. One day he looked at Noah crying and said to him, "Shut up, stop being a poofter." I was upset by his comment. I didn't understand how anyone could speak to a small baby that way. It seemed wrong, and I didn't want that for my child. I don't remember the first time Westley threatened to kill me. I know I would have been very upset. He often said dramatic things and then told me it was just a joke. Shortly after Noah's birth, I wrote this entry. Me and Westley are suffering. He needs me too much and he wants attention. It's so hard. He feels like I don't give him enough cuddles and kisses. I'm too tired. He doesn't understand. And then I wrote a letter to Westley trying to explain. To my baby, I love you so much. Now we have a son. He is beautiful, so much like you. I know that we have only been fighting because we're both so tired. There are some things I want to tell you. I don't like how you talk to me lately. You've said some really horrible stuff that has really hurt. You've called me names. You've told me I'm useless and no good at anything. You've made me feel crap, and it has hurt so much it brings tears to my eyes just thinking about it. When I tell you I want to go because you're hurting me so much, you tell me you will kill me if I take your son away. Do I mean nothing to you? I don't want us to be apart, but sometimes I feel like I'm so close to breaking myself. I feel like it would be better if I went, but I want us to be a family. I hate it when I'm exhausted and you don't want to do anything. I hate it that you want baby to hold when it suits you. I hate it that if I give you Noah to hold and if you're playing PlayStation, you just dump him on the ground or on your cousin, or you just hand him back to me so fast. It's like you'd rather play your game than hold your son. And you bring him to me and just give him to me, ready or not. I'm trying so hard. I don't know what to do. The other night I was crying. I just didn't know if I should stay or go. I want to go to get away from the fighting and the put-downs. I want to stay because I don't want our family to break up. I love you. You're just making it really hard for me to love you sometimes. I know I say things back to you, but you have to see I only do it when I'm so wound up, so angry. I can't handle it anymore and then I just explode. I'm not this person. I don't even usually get angry. It's horrible when Noah cries and cries and you're not there. I don't get mad at him. I tell him it's okay because his mum is here. I tell him I love him and he's okay. I just talk to him and kiss his head and love him. And another part of me gets angry at you because you are somewhere else, still doing fuck knows what with I don't know who. And it feels like you're training me to be a solo mum because it's only day 11 and I can do everything by myself. The lack of sleep is the hardest thing, but I'm getting used to that now. I seem to be able to get by on 6 or so hours. So I could manage on my own, but I don't want that. What do you want? Honestly, what will you do to keep us together? Will you do anything if it means we can stay a family? Anything? After writing this, I went through and reread my diary, and then I came back and continued writing. I just reread this since we've been back, and I get a feeling we aren't that happy anymore. And for me, it's your anger, your words. Those are the things that are hurting me so much. How much hurt and pain can I take before I walk away and don't come back? Over and over, you have promised me you'll change, but you haven't. You asked me to help you. I don't know how. So I want to go to talk to someone who'll know how to help. I understand it's hard for you. The more I look at it, the clearer the picture becomes. You've just grown up with it. It's normal for you to use words against people. You won't like the words that follow the sentence, so please try not to get angry. But your whole family does it. You call each other names and you put each other down. You all just hurt each other. And I've already seen things that scare me with Noah. You call him a poofter, and when he keeps crying, you growl at him. He doesn't even know what a growl is. He's 11 days old. He doesn't know anything. He can't speak. All he knows is when he's hungry or got wind, and you can't get mad at him for that. What do you want? What do you want for our family? What do you want for our future? I need to know what you want. I know what I want. I want to be happy with you, no one else. I want me, you, and Noah to be a family. I want us to have more babies, but for happiness, I need you to get help. I need you to get a hold of your temper and control your mouth, control your actions. I need you to stop calling me names. I need you to stop telling me and your cousin we're useless or dumb or stupid. I need you to stop banging stuff around when you get mad. I need you to stop trying to hurt yourself when you are mad. At the same time, I wanted to have another child. I didn't want my Noah growing up an only child. As I read through these diary entries and letters, I wonder what I was thinking. I was so wrapped up in Westley and keeping our family together, I couldn't see how damaged our life had become. A few days later, I wrote another painful entry. Missing pages, taken letters. I can't do it anymore. I can't convince you I love you unless I stay up all night and make myself tired. You know what those letters meant to me, and you burned them to hurt me. You tell me I didn't read your letters. Well, did you read mine? Because you still turn around and hurt me somehow. I've always told you how much it hurts me to have my love for you thrown in my face, and you've done it again and again. I can't show you how much I love you. If you can't see it, you're blind. If you don't know it now, how will you ever know? How can I spend the rest of my life trying to convince you that I love you? I spent such a long time just getting your love. How can you say I don't love you? It took me months to get you here, and I almost gave up so many times. But I got you, and a year later, I am still having to prove my love for you. I just don't know what to do. Then I've got a crossed out sentence. I don't quite understand why there is a line through it. Seeing you throw those letters into the fire was what snapped me. And I continue. You telling me you don't know if I love you was hard enough. I'm not sure I can convince you I love you. I know 10 minutes isn't going to do it. I know kisses and cuddles won't do it. I know 100 letters won't do it. I don't think there's anything I can do to prove to you I love you. I think you need to sit down and figure out what it is you really want and figure out what you need. I think it's time you come up with some ideas on how to fix things. At this point, everything is just too broken for me. I'm actually afraid of how broken it is. I can't do it again. Something has to change. I don't know what to do. All I know is it will take a lot of time to fix, and patience. I don't think you can wait, so I'm not sure it can be fixed. What do you reckon? Now, there were many days Westley enjoyed being a parent to his son, and he put in some effort. We often spent Sunday mornings at a small diner in town for brunch. It was one family outing he made an effort for. The three of us sometimes ate ice cream by the lake afterwards. In my head, that was a perfect happy family life, making smiling memories. I know I craved happy family moments for my son because I couldn't recall many happy memories from my own childhood. I wanted my children to grow up with many happy, smiling, laughing family memories. Our happier days made those painful ones easier to get through. I was able to focus on those happy times when everything was awful. It made it easier to stay because nothing made me smile more than our family outings. I was part of an antenatal group. I used to go along for catch-ups often. Sometimes I felt like an outsider, like I was the only one hiding a huge secret, that my life was far from perfect. I was one of the only ones not married. I couldn't easily talk about jobs or day-to-day life. I didn't want to tell the other mothers my partner was involved in a world of drugs. I didn't want them to know we spent most of our time fighting and only some of our time happy. The time I spent with the group was a mixture of good and bad. I loved having different friends who didn't have insane drama, but at the same time I felt fake. I felt I had to hide my reality because they wouldn't understand. Maybe they would give me unwanted sympathy. Maybe they would try to hug me and I might cry, or maybe they would try to give me advice. Perhaps I was really worried someone might force me to actually open my eyes and see my life could be much happier, that I could want and have so much more. So I held it all in. I didn't speak of my feelings, how I felt like I was being dragged along for a ride I wasn't sure I enjoyed a lot of the time. I didn't tell them I stayed because I loved the good times too much to let go. When our son was only 6 weeks old, the fighting worsened. It was most often about Wesley's comings and goings, and the people who were visiting and spending hours in the shed. I asked why he was always gone and who he was with. He became more secretive, guarding his phone and deleting the messages. I wasn't allowed near his phone, but I was consumed with paranoia. Some nights I would wait for him to fall asleep and silently slip the phone from under the pillow. I'd sneak out of the room hoping to find something to catch him out or put my mind at ease, but everything was already deleted. Soon he started holding onto the phone beneath the pillow in case he received calls or messages in the middle of the night. I sensed how unhappy he was, and although I had never worried about him messing around with other girls before, suddenly I was anxious about every possibility because of the secrecy. People I didn't know came around. I felt everything changing and I worried. Occasionally I slept at my mum's place to regain my balance, but I felt lonely and sad there away from Westley. He remained unemployed. I know he preferred the easy money. One day I caught him and a cousin in the shed with a pipe. I was beginning to get crazy angry. As he walked back to the house, I poured a bottle of water over his head. Rage was growing inside of me. I felt less sad and more angry. I wished I could beat him up and hurt him, even though I knew nothing I could do would physically hurt him. I felt like I was no longer in control of my life, and that made me feel frustrated and helpless. I wanted to take control of our relationship. I wanted to control him. I wanted to change the course of our life because I knew he was up to trouble. All of my questions received vague replies. The lies had begun, and I was starting to catch him out. I was quickly becoming someone I didn't like, always suspicious, nervous, anxious, and on high alert. I kept hoping and wishing he wasn't actually smoking the stuff. I will never really know if he was or not. And so that's the end of chapter 6, Newborn Ups and Downs. The next chapter is To Stay or Go, and I will read that on Sunday night. Now, also I've got a really cool little announcement to make before I jump off, and that is from June, I'm going to open up about 30 to 45 minutes as a live call once per week. So if you're wanting to jump on and talk to me about any of my books, or if you want to ask me questions, or if you just want to have a chat about something that might be going on in your life, that's cool. That'll start in June. Now the link, if you want to join that, because I'm not going to do it on Facebook, I'm actually going to do it through a Zoom so I can see you too. That'll be really cool. You'll need to jump on this. There's the description in this video, and it's got a little link at the bottom there. And if you click on that, you'll go through and you'll be sent the invite to the Zoom call. It'll be, I believe it's the 11th of June off the top of my head. It's going to be Mondays, 12:30 p.m. Sydney time. And we'll just see how that goes. And I'm really excited because I know that there are a couple of people there that have tried to get in touch with me, but usually after these book talks, I'm usually a bit tired and I have to go to sleep and look after my baby and stuff. So if you're interested in connecting, please have a look at the link that's at the bottom of the description. And I look forward to talking again on Sunday. I'll be reading chapter 7. So thanks again for listening. My name's Melissa Wiringi. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and please share it if you've enjoyed it. And if you want to view the other videos, there's a link again in the description so that you can see the rest of the videos, because there is all of the chapters so far. So chapters 1 through 5 in the introduction are all in the description there. So thank you again for watching tonight. I've really enjoyed it, and it's actually been heaps of fun reading this book. So we'll see you all again maybe on Sunday. Take care. Have a beautiful night. Bye.